the bottom right-hand side, we're going to start off with the player that did come from the winner bracket finals, which means he gets to go with the 1-0 advantage into this best of 7. Let's see if he can take that advantage and roll with it. It is from Storm Gaming, MaxPax. In the top left-hand side, he lost to MaxPax earlier today, 0-2. He'll be looking to turn that result around here in the rematch. The Blue Terran from Team Liquid, it's Clem. Game 2 of this best of 3. As we kick this off, we get this going. We look to see what will happen in these early stages of our grand finals of the WardiTV European League 2023. If you are watching this on YouTube, because we'll probably put this on YouTube, you can obviously like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. Been trying to say this a little bit at the start of series again recently, because that I think is generally a good thing to do. So yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, hopefully it does go on YouTube, because that would mean it's a good grand final. That's what we want to see here. We want to see all 6 games. Obviously, first map is already predetermined in MaxPax's favor because of the winner bracket finals. But we want to see it all. We want to see this full best of 7 play out. We want to see every single map, I think. I have no favorites. or anything along those lines. I just want to see every single game. So I'm cheering for Clem in this one to tie it up. Then I don't care who wins. There's a lot that will go on. Let's just have our Reaper about to finish. Cybercore coming up. Nexus on the way. Get ourselves settled in the first few momentos. Factory build up as well from Clem as we get things rolling and get everything started. Reaper comes in, drops a grenade, pushes things around just a few moments. As we do have the couple of probes, and the Adept gonna go chase him back over. This Reaper does get pushed over to the side, gets pushed out the main base, and it will go retreating for the moment. Adept trying to shade through in toward the Nat. Again, a little look to see if we can maybe just about get going here. As we do try for some damage, but the Adept will get hunted down, and that will be the end of that one for the moment, as our first cyclone of the game comes up from Clem. And getting that ready, an extra barracks going down. Our orbital coming through. It's going to be seeing the Stalker out on the main base, going to move about a little bit as well. Phoenix still coming up. Warp Gate coming in. A lot of this getting going as we continue for the moment. Extra barracks all coming up from Clem. We got that going, SCVs, Marines, and all the good stuff. Now Stalker just going to go back and forth over on the edge. End up chilling. A couple of Marines come through. Going to be seeing that stim coming up, starport on the way. The Adept is going to go shading up that right side, chase down the Reaper a little bit. Just push it back that ever so slightly. Phoenix and the Robo facility all coming through too. And just the Reaper still chilling. For the moment, as that probe is going to get taken down, the Adept is going to try and go onto that Reaper, looking to try and nab it there. As the Adept continues over, the Reaper is going to take a few shots. Stim and combat coming up, the Marines all coming out. And it is going to be Phoenix Colossus, the opening setup here from MaxPax. Well, he takes a third Nexus along with it. Gonna see, I think, a good mixture of obviously Phoenix Colossus. He actually played a DT opener against Clem earlier. It was actually very interesting, because I was going to say MaxPax typically plays Phoenix Colossus, or he plays 4-gate Blink. But actually, the earlier DT opening was kind of funny, because it didn't work. Like, he did nothing with it. And then he won the game with an 8-minute push anyways. Marines, the Cyclone heading through the center. The Phoenix back up around the top. Stamina combat shields coming through. And again, the Phoenix just looking to see a little bit of what's going on as well. Robobay is about to finish up. Nexus is coming in. Marines back over that right-hand side. Is that Phoenix still getting chased about a little bit? Locking on, chasing the Phoenix around just a little. Stalker takes a shot onto that Cyclone. Marines are going to jump forward. A couple of Stalkers already beginning to go down. Super Battery doing a little bit of healing. I mean, if the bio showing up on this third, this is obviously a bit of trouble. You kind of don't want to let this get too far out of control. Otherwise, issues might arise. We'll just have ourselves the army getting across here, and this is going to be a cleanup from MaxPax. Pushes Clem away for the moment. Marines come over. Phoenix take a little bit more damage. Just going to have those push back up the left side. Again, the Medivacs are going to load back up. And Phoenix going to take down one more SCV for couple of moments as well. It's just going to knock that down. Marauder, Marines, all continuing up. Our Medivacs on the way. We're going to try and go into the main, but there's going to be Stalkers here, so defensively we are very well set. There's going to be no opening there given by MaxPax. Let's now have these few Phoenix going to go back up to the center of the map. The bio still coming around the right-hand side. Twilight counts on a couple of gateways, all producing through. Phoenix. Chilling. Again, extended thermal lance coming out. The +1 attack upgrade coming in. Our charge just starting as the Colossus gets a shot or so off on the Widow Mine over there. So a couple of hits coming out as we do start to stem on around. Widow Mine's on the right-hand side getting picked away at. You do see the Phoenix coming through a little extra. And again, a few more shots off. Bio units going to get pushed around as well. So pushed over that side. Widow Mines bang, bang. Foresight firing up. We got a couple more shots off. We do have this army in the center here from Clem still moving around. I mean, Clem is just trying to drop around everywhere, but so far MaxPax's defense has been really solid. He's not really letting there be any targets for Clem to truly successfully hit. He has an opening. He gets in the main. There's going to be units coming up from the natural, though. The Phoenix gets zoned out by the mines. The Stalkers are now going to try and come in and give themselves up to set those mines off, let everything else come in. But the mines are getting picked away at. Bio units chasing down some probes. Continues to unload. A few more probes coming about. We do see the Zealot just going to go in, pick off a Widow Mine. Still more bio up in the center. Going to go after the Nexus here. So Nexus will take some heavy shots. The Nexus getting cancelled for just a couple moments as the Colossi continue across. Marauders taking hits. We do have a couple of SCVs going down as the SCVs continue to surround these Zealots. Continue to take some damage as well. So more damage being done, +2 attack Nexus and Templar Archives all building. And Clem's supply is looking good, but with all the attack coming out from MaxPax, all the attack coming out from Clem, there's going to be some much larger fights that really decide what happens in this game. This game is far from being set just from a 20 supply lead. What is maybe a bit concerning for MaxPax is that Clem has a worker lead as well. That on the top of mules means that Clem is in a really good position. Let's see if he's coming around. A couple of ghosts gonna fire up. Ghost still coming about here. +2 attack on the way in. We have ourselves a Nexus +2. All the goodness still coming in. As that bio's going to knock down a set of rocks. And Ghost still coming in. 2 upgrades coming out. Viking, Marauder coming through for the moment. Just gonna get Colossus shot going down. A couple of Zealots coming around as well. We have ourselves this push. Just being held off is going to be difficult to break through into this position, I imagine, more than anything else. Phoenix continuing around. 2 upgrades coming in. A few Ghosts coming in. I think it's going to try and grab the medevac, which we will be able to do. Bang on the Widow Mine onto the Phoenix straight away. Just going to nab that. Now the Viking's still coming across. Just getting a few more shots off as well. We're going to go. We do have ourselves already a little bit of damage being dealt again, just cleaning up a little bit of battery action. Here's the Vikings going to get in with the EMPs to eliminate immediately that Prism. Ghosts come over. It's taking some damage, a little bit more damage being done. Blink and +1 armor coming up. And the Zealots still coming in, a couple of SCVs still going down. Just seeing the bio coming across, picking off one more Zealot. The army still of Clem pushing over the right-hand side. And away we go. Vikings firing. First Phoenix already taking damage. The few Stalkers coming through. The bio going to go back and forth. If you get a set of EMPs off, Clem's army can absolutely melt what MaxPax is working with. And in general, MaxPax is just not finding really progress anywhere. You know, counterattacks have not really found much for him or anything. EMP goes down. The Vikings going to fire through, trying to get a few more shots off here. We do see our Bioforce still coming in. The Ghost as well. Stalkers going after a couple Vikings, trying to see what we can do. More Zealots out around the bottom as we do have Blink +1 armor coming up as well. Immortal is also on the way up. Ghosts are just helping to clean up some of those Zealots as well as we chase them away. Clem really seems just on top of everything in this game, and it's scary because it feels as though what does MaxPax build to really get control back on this? The Zealots are low health going into this fight. Clem just takes the fight. MaxPax is going to accept it. I don't know why, but maybe he just had no choice. Clem was kind of coming for him. I don't know why you kind of fight down the ramp really in the end, but that's what ends up happening. That is going to do it. GG's, and Clem is going to tie this series 1-1. We do start off with MaxPax kind of loves a lot of the time, right? Because he can be very quirky and different and weird in the early stages of this. Let's see what will happen. Bottom left-hand side from Sidestorm is going to be our red Protoss player. This is MaxPax. As in the top right, our blue Terran from Team Liquid. We have Clem. Game 3 of our best of 7. It was the second game played, but we'll call it game 3 for simplicity's sake, because we did start up with a 1-0 lead. As we have Iraqs and a gateway coming down on either side just for the moment. Let's see if Clem can get this one off to a good start. He really just controlled that last game, right? Just able to really consistently have control, do the right things. Pro goes across. SCV going to take a couple of nibbles. We do have ourselves the Cybercore on the way up. Stanos 110, thank you so much for the fresh new subscription. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. That probe goes nibbling, the depot taking some damage. Just having ourselves again that Cybercore, that Nexus, all coming up just for the moment. Probe gets back out into the center. So into the center we go. Factory is going to be finishing very shortly. The reactor is coming up. Nexus is just about halfway in. Well, obviously first few moments will not be too chaotic. We do see this probe coming back around the left-hand side. I'm kind of surprised. I expected MaxPax to really put on a lot of pressure early. He does have the Zealot out and the next unit coming across too, but well, let's see what he can do. And Zealot and Adept and a Stalker on the way as well. Twilight Council just producing along. Nexus is about to be done. Warp Gate is halfway through. That's where we stand at the moment as the Zealot and the Adept are going to see this Marine coming down the ramp a little bit, going to force that Marine to turn around and go back up into the high ground again. Helion's getting a couple shots off, Adept and the Zealot taking some damage. Again, Blink coming up, the Warp Gate still coming through. We just have a couple of probes, the gateway, all of that. Continue now just for the moment. These Helions are going to go zooming through the middle of the map. Obviously, the speed zone helps them get across the map quickly. Clem loves his Helions and his drops usually, but this time it's just the Helion run by. The wall is there just in time. We get the probe from across the wall, but that will be about it. That probe gave its life to ensure nothing else was exposed to these Helions. A brave soldier of the Protoss unfortunately falls today. But, obviously, like I say, much better than letting your entire mineral line go down. Otherwise, that could have been completely disastrous. That was a good wall from MaxPax in all seriousness. That does really stop Clem from doing much with his opening. Both sides are really getting shut down in the opening. No one's really finding aggression immediately. Now, Cloak is on the way from the Banshees, so maybe they will be the opening point of some real damage here. But yeah, not really a lot so far. Clem is building tanks too. I wonder if Clem maybe has like a Marine tank Banshee push on the mind. Because again, it is a smaller map. An aggressive push like that could do very well, especially if the Banshees open with some good damage initially as well. Then there's absolutely going to be some possibilities. The Helions get caught middle of the map again, but with the speedy zone, they get away quickly. The Stalker's running through too. First Banshee shows up, and we are going to have Cloak not quite ready yet. The Observer is not quite ready yet either. I guess as Cloak finishes, there'll be a few seconds before the Obs is done. We head into this main base. Stalkers blink, the Banshee cloaks, but there's a battery here, so there's not much you can really achieve. You can start to pick your way through some of that battery energy, but it'll take way too long to actually get anything. He's actually killing the battery. I don't think that's going to be soon enough, as the battery will fall. The few Stalkers still coming over. The probe still mining away in that main base. You know, thank you, Hulkins Brawl, for the 13-month resub. That was a Helion that gets taken down. I think that's all 4 Helions now wiped out, so Clem will not have those hitting a mineral line at some point in this game, at least. Prism is continuing in. The Banshee's still building. A couple more Marines, bunkers, and barracks all coming out over these next few moments as our Prism just now finishing, and the Banshee comes down the left-hand side. Is going to get itself 1 probe, looking for 2. 3. I mean, this is really nice. Just the Observer coming back across from the main base. The battery had to rebuild in the main as well to deal with the fact that we had had Banshee problems there. So that is going to be, again, having to reset and resettle. Let's just see our Observer, our Robo Bay, all of this continuing up for the moment. Our Prism goes back in the main base, provides that high ground vision, tank on the edge. Gonna try and help out. Clem is just on his way up to Stim, and the 3rd barracks looking to get to that 2nd tech lab so we can get some combat shield on the way. Stalkers are back out in the center, and we just have the Adept chilling out the front for a few moments. Extended Thermal Lance coming up. The charge is on the way through. Colossus about halfway done. That's our Stim Pack and +1 all build from Clem still. So getting himself into that very strong Bioforce. And like I say, the more this map goes on, the more intrigued I am. This map really, again, is made for aggression, faster pushes, you know, getting up in the face of your opponent quickly. And we're getting to the point where we're kind of getting past all of that, where, you know, these things are not going to be as much of a factor. So this is starting to become very, very interesting in terms of what the next step will be. Because I've not seen a lot of games in Solaris that go much longer, that go to the kind of the really kind of later stages of a game or so. So yeah, definitely going to make this an intriguing few moments, as MaxPax wants to keep the pressure up apparently just now. Stalker's in this main base. A few bio units here. We're so close to having Stim. Obviously, once Stim is done, stuff like this becomes so much less scary. And there's just so many Marauders. These Stalkers are not having a chance. They're getting absolutely destroyed. So have that Banshee lingering around too. Not sure it'll come into big effect, but the sort of thing that maybe still scouts or even just grabs a couple of workers further down the line could obviously still be very nice. So still some possibilities on that one. Helion to Clem, moving into the center there. The Stalkers do blink away, trying to get themselves out of trouble, keep themselves out of any issues. The Stalkers come in to hit the Banshees, and the first Banshee already beginning to go down. Prism sets up. Our command center still coming through. Conquest shells coming up. Marauders and Marines on the way out. Our Bioforce starting to get forward there. Tank is going to take a few shots. Now the tank is going to siege onto a few of those units as well. Another tank sieging up. Bio still coming in. Stalkers continue to get absolutely destroyed. My goodness, they are absolutely getting destroyed as well. So position here from Clem is good. Can MaxPax slow this down enough to then stabilize against it? Because otherwise, you could end up in a little bit of trouble right here. He's on his way to 1-1 upgrades. He's on his way to a lot of good stuff, but he needs to get rid of these tanks in this position in general. The battery will fall in this base too, so Clem has potential to take a fight on a base with no battery. Now, he doesn't have all of his army here. Clem still actually has quite a bit at home, and I think realizing that he's not really reinforced in a while, Clem will actually take the opportunity to step back, head back home, and just regather a little bit. The position was really good, but just difficult to kind of justify staying in it without too much else really going on in your favor. A couple more Widowmine shots by you and still getting picked away at. As we now have our couple of gateways and our Nexus and our Stalkers, now Disruptor and 1-1, all being brought into play. All of that coming through just for now. We grab the Banshee on the left-hand side, so picking that off once again. Robot Facility coming through, the Nexus producing. Actually, look at MaxPax getting the Dark Shrine up. Obviously, the later this game goes, you know, stuff like Dark Shrine, Dark Templar, these things really do help you so much in terms of harassing, having a real late game kind of harassing squad. I mean, I know we're only 10 minutes in, but it's getting to that point where if neither of these guys can really push into or push through each other, they're going to want to have those later game harassing options available. Obviously, Terran doesn't need to do much. They still have drops, and that's a fantastic way to harass all game long. But the DTs with Blink really are that kind of ultimate endgame harassment from a Protoss player, so definitely aiming toward that. As this Disruptor shot will not even clip a Marauder. We lift up into the medevac, we get away. No problemo on that one. As a few more ghosts continue out, the barracks continue through, Disruptors still continue in as well. Just for the moment, as our Bioforce continues to split up, another Disruptor shot lands. But only going to clip the Sensor Tower, not going to get anything more than that. As now the Bio units seem to feel like they can catch a Disruptor. It's quite the chase, and there's going to be another Disruptor shot to cover it, so unfortunately those Bio units were incorrect in their assessment. They will not catch it, but I guess I don't hate that he at least tried, you know. Nothing lost there. He didn't let those units run forward to the point the next Disruptor killed them off or something, so pretty reasonable in that regard. As we do have the couple of Disruptors still coming up. Shadow Strike coming in, 2-2 upgrades coming in. Now Pylon gets knocked down, and this Bioforce continues to come through. A couple Storms getting picked away out. Widowmines connecting in for a few Zealots. Disruptor shot still firing. Bio lifting up and backing away. Those medevacs just chilling all the way out down on that bottom side. Well, they're going to be a little bit stuck there, a little bit cornered in, although the more you spend to corner those units in, the less supply you really have active otherwise as MaxPax. Clem is bringing the rest of his army onto the map. He's maxed. He's a little bit behind on upgrades, but right now they're even, but in timing he's going to be a little bit behind on the upgrades, so that'll be an interesting little something to keep our eyes on as well. Bio unload, Stalker getting picked off already, and just having ourselves a couple of these Stalkers getting knocked down. Little bits of damage still coming through. Now the Disruptor shot flies. Marauder has to pull back. Now we jump back in. This Nexus is going to get jumped on. Disruptor shot firing through. We do dodge away from that as well as these Zealots continue across into the natural. More Disruptor shot just coming through, aiming forwards here as we look to see what we can end up with. Again, that 2-2 coming in, the Shadow Stride coming in. A lot of good stuff for later in this game from MaxPax. Like a lot of things that really are going to put him into a much better spot as Bio continues to move around. Colossi and Zealots all setting up as we have a little bit of Terran up around the top side as well. That Disruptor shot lands for a clump of Marauders, so they'll do very well on that. A couple more Disruptor shots landing as well, although not really too meaningful. They're not taking out massive clumps of Terran. Obviously, Clem probably wants to avoid a larger fight until he sees 2-2 in play, and that's probably about 30 seconds away, so he's not going to rush into anything before that is set in stone. That seems to be almost a guarantee right now as our Nexus of MaxPax building out onto the top left-hand side as well, so he gets that set up. Fusion Core and a few more command centers all coming in from Clem. And just having ourselves that cloaking also coming through too, so that should also help us with the Ghost a bit later on. We're even going to get advanced ballistics. Clem is very happy to tech up properly in this game. I wonder if that's kind of one of the faults he found with the series he played earlier against MaxPax in that first game. They had a very long game where Clem never really, I feel like, hit a lot of the tech which he's aiming for now. Especially stuff like ranged liberators and so on. Now, you obviously don't have a chance to get into that situation every single time, but it's definitely something to note. This fight's going to start up. Clem dodging mostly from the Disruptor. Actually ran back into it a little bit. Disruptor shot starting to find something. Obviously opening up this fight, forcing Clem to back away. Clem is finding some EMPs. Good. It's so difficult to do what MaxPax is doing there. In the midst of everything else going on, he's finding a chance to retarget the Disruptors and find the clumps of units. He's doing a great job of that, as now Clem, though, realizing he can chase. And chasing Terran is such a terrifying prospect for a Protoss player, because it means the Terran is not afraid of what you have. And if they're not afraid of what you have, it's very unlikely that you're going to be able to turn around and justify making an attack into them. So, Clem chasing, gets a few Disruptors out. MaxPax actually trailing about 20 supply at the moment. Disruptor shot firing through. Bioforce splits apart. Another Disruptor shot fires, also just misses a little bit. Bio just continues to pull away. The Zealots continue to chase. That Ghost very nearly going down. Just about surviving. More Zealots in the center. We see +3 attack, +3 armor all coming up. Zealots still coming across. Our Bio unit's on the move. Just going to see a few Vikings burrowed there. The Zealots actually going to go and charge onto that base. We have a few units over there too. We're seeing a fascinating fight around this position, like around this speed zone. Both players kind of wrapping around it in different ways, but I think Clem's coming out on top again once more, chasing this army back. Nexus now on the bottom side is going to go down. Clem continues to push through. Again, it has the support of ranged libs as well. And MaxPax's army feels like it's only getting worse. More gateway focus, less splash damage available. I mean, he only really has a couple of Disruptors. Now make it one Disruptor, which is now on cooldown. Splash doesn't exist. What hope do you really have as a Protoss? Usually not a lot. Once we have ourselves the Zealots coming across. A couple of SCVs will be going to drop down. That Ghost is going to get caught as well. It will go down too as our Marauder also coming in. Libra is still sieging, Bio still kiting back, and we do have a lot of those Stalkers continue to go down. There's one more Disruptor getting picked off as well. Clem's still coming out on top of this. His supply definitely a little bit better off. He is a little bit low on work account, so MaxPax, very similar to, I guess, one of the early games. Again, I refer to this a lot, but they played such an interesting game earlier. A lot of what happened in that first game they played earlier on is that Clem was behind on workers, but he traded very well. But MaxPax was able to stay in the game because he had more workers, and that's kind of what's happening now. MaxPax definitely doesn't have the army to trade well. Resources lost will show a 7,000 difference favoring Clem. So he doesn't have the, what he needs to kind of trade well, but he has the economy to keep on reproducing out of these trades so that as long as you don't die, you should be kind of fine. Coming across, Vikings on the ground, couple of EMPs going out, Super Battery is going to activate. Fire coming across, couple Zealots taking damage. Just going to see that Immortal taking a few more shots as well. Actually going to turn back around, these Zealots coming from the other side again. Going to come through, and the Medevac's load up, going to peel away over to the sides. Well, MaxPax up through the center. I mean, definitely feels like MaxPax is making dives just to try and avoid a lot of trouble here if possible. Again, Marines, Marauders, Libs, all in production. Another CC is going down. The Libra is coming out. Our Marines are on the way. Lib's still coming up. Bio will move in. The Zealots will charge forward. Can be seeing this Bio Force continue to kite back. The Zealots will continue to charge by. Libera is still sitting here as we have Clem enough to take game 2. And now Clem is in, game 3. And now Clem is in a 2-1 lead in this Grand League history. Like I say, that's, I know not a lot of people out here like counting WardiTV tournament histories or anything like that. But I like to look at the WardiTV history and like the, I'm sure the players Clem probably doesn't know how many European leagues he's won. But I like it, as the, organizer of these events, I still feel like it's kind of cool to follow the history of the tournaments and all of that, so kind of a fan. Okay, coming up, Rack's coming through as we get ourselves set for a few moments. The barracks of Clem continuing out just for the moment here. So getting that ready, getting that underway. Engineering Bay is going to go down for the blocks. This is going to be Clem. Kind of saying to MaxPax, no, you may not expand. And then MaxPax is going to see it early, though, so he can pull probes against it. Probes nibbling at the engineering bays. SCV is taking some damage. Having that Cybernetics core coming up as we have ourselves the Nexus coming through and a little bit of getting going. Factory is on the way out. Orbital Command coming through. And this SCV just going to go chilling all the way up to the top side of the map just for a moment or so. We might proxy a starport here. Clem has not yet done his traditional proxy Helion, not proxy Helion, but Helion into the proxy medevac drop, so see what maybe happens on this as we have the Nexus going up on the natural expansion, getting this ready to rumble. Reactor coming up. Factory's going to go land down on that reactor in the next couple of moments. So that starport goes into the upper right hand side. We get that underway. Stalker begins, just going to see a couple of Helions still popping out. Starport coming through, and again, Helion, Starport, all the good stuff currently on the way up for these early stages. Step going to shade through the natural up in toward the main base. In the back in the Helion still coming through, and the Phoenix is going to produce up on the Stargate as well, so getting that on the go. Again, the Phoenix about halfway done, the Warp Gate finishing shortly, the Medevac already up on the top, getting set And on the way, the Helions continue to produce, and well, with Phoenix at least, you should have a pretty good chance of defending this because you can lift Helions up, you can take away the one-shot potential. Helions coming around. They do get in. The Phoenix take a little bit to lift up. Now, 3 Helions still one-shot, so you can still get some kills through the battery, and that's exactly what starts to happen. Clem already killing 7, dropping to the low ground. These probes pulling away. Well, you're going to chase through. Obviously, now this should be the end of it. That's the power of the Phoenix, right? That they can essentially take away the one-shot potential with a couple lifts. So they managed to do exactly that. Just seeing our Cyclone coming up, couple barracks coming through, Marines coming in. A lot of this getting ready here as our Phoenix make their way back around the right-hand side. Medevac up the top, we do see the MaxPax Phoenix making their way toward the main base. The Phoenix going to move across toward the natural, and couple Marines there, we'll just see them. The medevac the starport is already back at home. And during all of this, MaxPax has actually still maintained a worker lead, so yes, he lost a chunk of workers, single digits only, still a substantial amount, but he is not able to Clem is not able to take a worker lead off of it. That at least is good. And it'll still slow MaxPax down. He lost mining time as well. Look at the income graph, you can see that MaxPax got heavily stopped, and you can see how his advantage is definitely being decreased, and his Clem now gets onto the natural as well. Phoenix continuing down to the bottom, going to turn around in toward the main. There's a few Marines in a Cyclone there, so they're just going to wait up and look for their opportunity to do something. Phoenix going through, medevac will do a little bit more damage. And now, obviously MaxPax starts his transition through into the tech that's really going to help him throughout this game. The Colossus starts, so not too surprising there. Let's continue along with that one. Just seeing that extended thermal lance coming up, so again, really full on into the Colossus play right now. And get that up and rolling. Marines are going to try and zone out those Phoenix a little bit longer, chasing them away. We have the Phoenix going after the medevac for just a second there. Again, trying to see a little bit of what they can do. The Phoenix going to get back onto the medevac. Medevac still taking some hits. Marines trying to zone the Phoenix out, and so far will be able to do so. It's of course at the very least going to stop the drop, but I think that's alright. As the Marines just continue to zone. I mean, damage on the Phoenix is still going to add up. And over time, eventually, if you want to, get rid of these Phoenix, any damage, as long as you get past the shields a couple times over, is going to really mean some dead Phoenix. As Clem pressing forwards. Now, that's a lot of Phoenix. It's a battery. I think he might be able to dive the Colossus, but it's dangerous, because if the Phoenix lift all the Marauders perfectly, then you don't quite have that armored bonus damage on the Colossus, and that might mean that you just don't have the DPS to get it down in general. So, Clem has to pick this fight carefully. As the next round of reinforcements already showing up, they begin to look very good, very quick to get there. A few Marines stim up, going to chase that Phoenix around once again, back up to the top side. And again, we got Charge, Extended Thermal Lance, and the +1 attack upgrade all building through. It gets in the center now. A Widowmine drop going into the natural expansion where we're going to come in and, well, bang bang, 2 probes go down pretty much immediately here. The rest of the probes get back into the natural expansion, so they'll get set back up straight away. I mean, this was a good defense from MaxPax, as it should be, right? Generally, he shouldn't be in too much trouble overall. He should be able to handle this a pretty reasonable amount for the most part. Charge +1, the Zealots and the Prism all continuing through. The extra gateways all producing through from MaxPax as well, so continue to bring that into play. Gates and that cannon continue out, and just seeing how Ghost Academy continuing up. Vikings still coming through. His Colossi setting out the front of the third base, and the Phoenix going to go overhead. This bio army of Clem is back around the top. Heading away for the moment, just going to have ourselves the Phoenix coming back over. They're going to go after those few medevacs, and the bio again coming through, knocking down a probe and just chasing things away in general for the moment. As we have again the Phoenix coming back through, just going to pick off an SCV for a moment or so. Couple cannons come up, plenty of zealots on the way through as well. Continue to get all of that set. We do knock down the prism, but that's going to come at the cost of the Vikings. I mean, the prism denial is obviously very good. It delays pressure, and actually the Vikings land, and now units get over here, so you will chase the Phoenix away. And so you only lose one of the Vikings. I think that's always a worthwhile trade, because a prism gives you so much potential as the Protoss player. It really does a very good thing for you if you can take that prism out as the Terran, and just gives you so much more freedom. As Clem's army is surrounded, but mostly by Phoenix, so I'm not sure how much of a concern that is, as the main force of MaxPax looks to head forward, looks to get a little bit of a push going. Clem says, not just yet. Not right now. Just hangs back a little bit. We do see Ghost continuing out here on the side of Clem as well, so as he hits that tech, as he hits that kind of point, he should begin to feel very confident about his ability. So again, land EMPs on this army, really soften it up, and I don't know if this is an attack MaxPax wants to go for if Ghosts are here. First Ghosts are popping. EMP should be ready. We land an EMP on the first few stalkers. It's enough to scare MaxPax back. He runs down the ramp, heads away for the moment. The Fusels are going to charge in on the bottom side. That Ghost is going to go down as well. Bayon's going to stand tight and actually go fighting. Now chasing forward a little bit. Still seeing the rest of this being chased away. The Fusels are being chased down too. Going to get rid of a whole bunch of those as the Cyclone lock-on continues on it as well. Still seeing our +2 attack and our +1 armor. Upgrades at least on the way for MaxPax that will help him. Comes on the way to 2-2 as well though, and the attack upgrade of MaxPax is ahead, but obviously the armor is very behind, so in general. Feels like it's been a series that's been all about Clem, right? Obviously MaxPax won 2-0 in their earlier meeting, but this best of 7 has been Clem across the couple of played games so far. Honestly, in this third one, Clem is, again, feeling like he's controlling quite nicely. He's not letting MaxPax do too much. He's got answers to MaxPax's, bigger pushes. So far, at least, he's actually going to lose the base here. So, just as I'm on about it being all Clem, MaxPax has a little bit more of a successful moment or so. Will find himself a few better, a little bit of a better second or two to help himself out on that. As the Dark Shrine halfway done, the Robo facility is about to finish. And the Immortal still coming through. The Blink, the +2 attack, and the +1 armor still building. Our Vikings are there to knock down the Observer, and our Phoenix are still being kept out toward the middle of the map. The Medevac starts to move over to the left-hand side, so it's going to go dropping just a couple of cheeky mines, looking to try and get those over into the mineral lines, try and find some serious damage with those, if at all possible. Roads and Ghosts move their way around the left as we do start to pick off a couple of these Zealots. Pylon on the high ground will get picked off as well. Our Biostims up here. Pylon will fall. The rest of these Zealots moving around on the left. Our Bio going to jump forward. That's a good EMP. Lands on a chunk of the Zealots straight away. So, again, just softening things up and kind of keeping, MaxPax busy. But MaxPax has the attention still to pay attention, to see that Widow Mine and to deal with it adequately. Making sure you are not letting Clem just find like that big, probe drop off, right? That big probe clump, get a big kill, and really just, take away some of the control that MaxPax has in the game, which is his economy is still very decent, No, I say very decent. 71 probes is maybe not as killer as it's been in some of the other games, but it's still, a worker lead over what Clem has. And in terms of how they've traded this time, it's not been the bad trades from MaxPax where he needs a huge amount of workers more than Clem to be able to stay in the game. So what I'm trying to say is his economy is very much so just what it, it's doing what it needs to do for the moment. You start losing 10 probes here, then you lose 10 probes elsewhere because you kind of, are recalling from the first hit. That's where Pros players can start falling apart, even in these later stages. So you're going to see a clash actually starting up in the center. EMP's coating the Stalkers. Well, it's not quite the coat you want to be wearing in winter weather, and It's getting colder this time of year. The Stalkers are going to back it up. They're going to try and get their shields back, get some protection going. Phoenix are going to come and, again, just try and zone a little bit. Clem is still being extremely cautious about where and when and how he picks these fights. Army comes back around. Bio jumps onto the Nexus on the top side. That 12 o'clock base looks as though it's going to go down pretty quickly. It's going to knock that down. A couple of probes will fall. Stalkers are still going to move out over to the right. The Marauder's already taking damage. Three upgrades. Building on the engineering base. A couple of command centers coming through. Couple shots land. Command centers still build up. And as our CCs come out, our fusion core builds, we have ourselves a... Well, I mean, fusion core obviously gets the advanced ballistics, so Clem is really happy to play much later into this game than what he was earlier. He was just much more aggressive in the earlier series. I keep referring to it because it's a great, you know, point of reference to fall back to. These EMPs are really good, and then a lot of Phoenix going down as well. We're kind of at the point where Phoenix don't play as much of a role, I suppose, so that's maybe not as much of a concern as it once was. Fire dives, left side base will go down. No fifth for you, MaxPax, being kept on 4. Obviously, Clem is on 4, but he is starting to move towards a 5th. Getting that set up. Start firing, command set taking some shots. Zealot goes down, just gonna have ourselves the Neo Steel plating coming through, +3 armor coming up, +2 ship weapons coming through. This Bio army continues to back away just for the moment. Liberator sieging, few Stalkers getting picked away at. This Bio 4 still settling down on the bottom side. Our Vikings all gathering up, some Liberators coming through. Medevac's going to load up. They're going to start moving to the top. Bio's still in the center. Again, Libs, Ghosts, Cloaking, +2 ship weapons all coming out. What is that upgrade? Caduceus Reactor. That's the Medevac one? Increases the energy regen? I forgot they added that. Great patch, guys. We're like a week and a bit into it. I've not seen this upgrade one time. I was like, I could not for the life of me think what they changed to the Medevacs. I'm like, oh yeah. The upgrade we've literally never once seen. Well, I mean, I guess a decent time to try it out. Later in the game, you've already got the fusion core. You may as well add on to that, right? I mean, in theory, you heal up more with the Medevacs. That seems like a good thing. It is finished up now, as we do see Clem coming in for the surround. A couple storms come out to try and help. The Ghosts are the ones flanking from the top side. MaxPax's supply has dropped quickly, and he's going to lose more. As always, it's almost one of my favorite quotes. When you're being chased as a Protoss by a Terran, you're probably not having a good time. And this is fairly true here. We actually do stop the chase fairly quickly. The Disruptors for the moment were scary. There's also a lot of Immortals, and as a cute little dodge forward would have been better if he got an EMP off before the Ghost fell. There was a lot of Immortals which he didn't have an EMP on, and I don't think he had Ghosts really in the right position to be able to kind of take advantage of those Immortals, so he just backed away instead. +3 armor still coming up, additional Immortals building through. Well, Zealot's going down, the Liberators will siege. Still seeing that army of MaxPax back around the right side. Marauders, Ghosts, the Libs still setting up. Disruptor shot goes up that ramp. Another Disruptor shot fires but will not land. +3 ship weapons coming through. The Libs and the Ghosts all producing. The Medevac coming out as well. Just having a Bioforce coming in, going after some of those Zealots. Good couple of storms. The Ghost just kind of cloaked up, looking for snipes. Dodging the Disruptor shot as well. Now we chase. We missed the EMP though. Again, just not quite able to get that. So many Immortals from MaxPax. He really believes in these Immortals in these later stages. Storm coming down. Liberator's taking a lot of damage. Our Bioforce continues to fight. Libs will try and siege up once again on top of this army. Trying to do what we can. We've got ourselves no real answers to Liberators, just Stalkers. The up on Stalkers, and Stalkers just, I mean, they're just not good enough because blinking in to get the libs allows the bio just to absolutely wipe them out. Clem is going to take a 3-1 lead in this grand final. He is putting on a very solid display of TvP. He is just taking control of these games. He's playing them long, but because he can play them long, because when you're enjoying it, like I say, if you've got a Prime sub, I'm sure some people out there have a Prime sub. You guys can turn that into StarCraft 2 tournaments by subscribing with it right now. Give it a check as we head into game number 5. In the bottom left, he's not had anything going his way. The one map comes from the earlier 2-0 victory he had from the winner bracket finals. It's MaxPax in the bottom left. On the upper right, our blue Terran is going to be Team Liquid's Clem. Well, Clem is just going to get aggressive himself. He say, man, these long games, they're kind of working down on me a little bit, huh? So he's just going to proxy this time around, try and take a little bit of control early this time as we see our probes mining away for a little bit, getting that set up. A couple of barracks coming through, the gateway coming out, probe on the way. So far, so good. Yo, Atticus HC, thank you so much for the fresh new subscription. Welcome. The Wardy family, thank you so much. Snack Trash gifting a sub out to Cliptor. Thank you so much for the generosity as well. On the verge of starting a hype train here in our grand finals. If you want to, like I say, support this channel, get on the hype train. Why not? Go on. Tiny little bit of sellout mode. Round out the tournament. As we do have our SCV and Probe going to go pushing off of each other. And just a few moments here of a game settling down, setting up. With the bunker now dropping. I say settling down on the natural of MaxPax because we have got this proxy in full swing. Zealot built from MaxPax but was out in the middle of the map because he didn't know what was coming. It's a lot of probes pulled. He's got to stop these bunkers from coming up. The Zealot turns... Actually, sorry, the Zealot was not in the middle of the map. It was the probe that was. Well, right now, there's nothing actually stopping these probes building the freaking bunkers. There's 2 probes going for it right now. Oh my god, it's so close. There's one more SCV, though. One bunker will at least finish, and these Marines, they know what they want to do. The probes are going to try and stop them. They are both... No, just one got into the bunker. The SCV, another one showing up. Where's he getting these SCVs from? Oh my goodness. They're going to get into the next bunker. We get further forwards. We start a target fire down the battery. If we lose the battery, this is terrible. The SCV will hop in and hop out. Another Marine gets in. Now the SCV is exposed, but the battery is gone, and the Stalker will not last long with the bunker up here. Clem's Proxy is looking to get the job done. Clem's Proxy is looking to close out the European League Grand Finals, as his lead from this could be absolutely huge. The Stalker dies. GG's. Clem is going to take his 3rd WardiTV European League. That is a 4-1. That is Clem, your champion of the EU League.